Good morning, everyone. We're on the sideline Saturday morning, Steph and myself in the Wellington studio, because of course we've got the test here in Wellington tonight.
And of course, the reason that played is it's your 300th test, which I know it's getting. You've had to endure.
Let's get it out of the road, and then we'll move on with the show.
When you're tuning in to watch the TV tonight, the test match, it is Nisbett's 300th. So officially, Grant, congratulations. And your favourite line that people say, have a good call.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, have a good call. Oh, okay, I will now.
Never sure what that means. But anyway, that's very nice, Steph. Thanks for that. Well, on the show today... You just don't think about those things when you're young, do you? I mean, when I first started out, I didn't sort of think that I'd still be there nearly 50 years later, which just sounds awful. Oh my goodness, that's a bit scary. That's, as they say, back in the day. The whole career started on the last day of 1968, believe it or not. But I had a next door neighbour who knew Sir Lance Cross, who actually ran the NZBC sporting service in those days. So 5 days after my 18th birthday, I started in broadcasting. My moustache has been here since 1974. I cut it off once for Movember, which was a great cause, but I made sure that I went white batting and nobody would see that it had gone. So my daughters, who were both born in the sort of 80s and the early 90s, have never actually seen me without a moustache. I wouldn't feel right without it, to be honest with you. It's important to have a family that are supportive, because certainly when the kids were growing up, I wasn't around a hell of a lot.
The hardest part about his job was definitely the travel. So back in the day, he used to go away for months on end.
In fact, I do remember going on one tour. I was away for 13 weeks.
Mum bringing us up. There were lots of arguments, her trying to bring up 2 teenage daughters.
So you just can't survive without the home fires burning. And my late wife, Tony, she was fantastic, and the 2 girls, who are pretty much rugby experts, not surprisingly, have been very supportive as well. The best player I've ever seen is Christian Cullen, and without any doubt whatsoever.
You're on a pair.
No player in the time that I've been watching has been able to change the course of a game so quickly and so dramatically than Christian Cullen. He just had an uncanny ability to be near the ball, just an exceptional player.
Christian Cullen, try number 3 for the All Blacks.
He's probably embarrassed at the fact that I think that he's the best All Black of all time. That's the sort of guy that he is.
Well, it's pretty humbling, really. I mean, he's been there and watched it and seen a lot of people, so very, very nice to come from the great Nisbett.
I prepare the day before so that I don't have much to do on the day. You write a lot of stuff down, but as Bill McLaren once said to me, you're not going to use much of it. But I do tend to write things down phonetically. For instance, if you saw me at a World Cup and saw me doing maybe Italy against Fiji, and you looked at the way I'd written things down, you'd think I'd gone completely mad. I've been lucky to work with some fantastic blokes. I mean, from Sky's point of view, it started with Murray Mexted, who was quite a controversial character, but an absolute delight to work with Mex. I don't think I've ever met anyone so passionate about the game. And when he moved on, I did a few years with Grant Fox. Foxy also very, very passionate. And then, of course, we've got Marshy and Smithy. Smithy's been there a bit longer, and he does a remarkable job on the sideline. It's not easy down there because, it can be cold, it can be wet, but he doesn't miss anything.
I mean, I've been lucky to work with a lot of great commentators over the years in both forms of the game. And when Grant Nisbett starts calling a game of rugby, you feel like you belong in that room with him. His trait, or his strength for me, is the calmness that he brings to everything, and then the right moment to explode.
I've actually got the World Cup final sitting on my Sky. That was 2015. I've never watched it. It's still sitting there. I've never watched it.
Mitchell's lost it. Now here's Ben Smith in space.
And I had Justin beside me, of course, and we were in control of the game, but we just needed one more try to confirm it. And of course, when Ben Smith put the kick through, Justin spied it immediately that Bowden had the pace.
Bowden Barrett's got a heap of pace.
And I had quite fresh legs, so really when I saw him kick it ahead, I didn't tell him to kick it ahead, but when I saw it happen, I couldn't believe my luck. So
He leads the charge. Go Bowden! That's on do it! That's the way to go! Bowden Barrett!
every time I do see it and I hear his voice, it gives me shivers, and you know what he said, that'll stick with me for the rest of my life. Every time I see it, it's him and Marshy going for it, and the excitement in their voice is pretty cool too.
Dear Mr Nisbett, I'm writing to congratulate you on your appointment as a member of the New Zealand Order of Merit in recognition of your services to sports broadcasting.
I think it was like a Friday afternoon, and he called up and he said, I've just received something in the mail. He didn't really want to do it, and he was kind of like, I just want to ask you girls, because obviously it's your award too, which is classic Dad.
I was a little bit hesitant about it all because I don't like any fuss and bother, but I rang my two daughters, and they were over the moon. They said, "You've got to take it, Dad." So here I am, I took it.
That's just who he is. So he doesn't want to take full ownership of that award because he doesn't want the attention on him, but it's all his.
Well, there's no point getting up if you don't want to go and do something. I mean, that's been my attitude all through, really.
We do our part just playing the game, but with legends like Nisbett, who can tell a good story, who understand the game inside out, who call it as they see it. There's no one better, in my opinion. That's the reason why he's been doing it for 300 tests, and for him to be part of this moment, it's one that I'll remember for the rest of my life.
You know, Nisbett is obviously the ultimate professional, but he's a good bastard with it. I mean, I was obviously the first commentary thing I did, and you see the list and you go, Grant Nisbett, Christian Cullen, and then who was on the sideline, you're like, far out. There's people that are easy to work with, and he's definitely one of them, so mate, he deserves everything he gets, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty more.
Nisbett, it's been a thrill, a pleasure. You've made my job so much easier than it could have been. It's just a reflection of the way you treat people and the respect that you have for your fellow workers that I think has made it so easy. You're a Rongotai boy, we're both Rongotai kids. Who would have thought that we could go from Jim Ting's maths class to where we've got to now? 300, mate, absolutely brilliant. Love you for it.
Oh, cut it out. Another 50 tests. Well, that's probably 4 years down the track, so that would depend on a heck of a lot of things.